Hello, fellow Voyagers. Jess here with Odyssey Human, here today to talk about End the War Within Yourself. Welcome to the channel. This is a place where we help you hack through the jungles of consciousness so that you can discover the hidden treasures inside of you. My friends, it's all there, ready and waiting to be activated by you. If that sounds good, please subscribe. We'd love to have you join us on the channel. Today's conversation is all about authenticity. Authenticity and some of the conversations, the thoughts, and the feelings that I've been having this week around this topic and how important it is. Because when I look back over the last 5 years, I have been through the gamut of authenticity, and I want to encourage you to yield to your desires. That's the moral of the story today. Go along with them. Your desires are a sacred call to you, right? They're not just pipe dreams. They're not just pie in the sky. They are who you're meant to be. They are your fate, your destiny. And the minute you start to yield to them, you take them seriously, you commit, and you stop being loyal to a false self, you, in your own internal environment, you're going to feel so much peace of mind, so much clarity, so much just a settling of who you are. And I want to share my story with you today to demonstrate this. 5 years ago when I started this channel, I was a hot mess. I was a hot mess, both internally and externally. Externally, I was struggling to figure out what I wanted to do with my life. I knew what I wanted, but I couldn't seem to make it happen, right? Internally, I was fighting with myself. That internal narrator, I was being critical, very critical of who I was. That voice in my head was very mean. And it just prohibited me from doing a lot of things. Like I talked myself in and out of things. And it was painful. There was a lot of suffering attached to that. There was a lot of uncertainty. There was a lot of quitting, right? Of wanting to continue doing something, feeling drawn to it, but then giving up, talking myself out of it because I was fragile. A lot of the environment in our head creates fragility or anti-fragility for us. If we are in our head a lot, overthinking, ruminating, being anxious, talking ourselves in and out of things, that all that energy that goes into that and that attention often translates to certain characteristics externally of us being short with other people, tired, distracted. It creates kind of this false self. And the more and more that we yield to our desires, the more and more peaceful our mind becomes. This is what I have found. Manifesting isn't just some hocus pocus that we do on the weekend. Manifesting is literally becoming our true selves. It's the process of becoming our true selves and shedding all of that other crap, all of those other stories, all of that other conditioning, all of that other, the attention grabbers, getting rid of that, becoming aware of it, and then getting rid of it out of our lives so that we are living our best life and being our best selves and having the courage to do that free of all that internal conflict, right? All the war within ourselves quiets. There's a truce. And so, 5 years ago, I started this channel. I was a hot mess. I hired a business coach who said, start a YouTube channel. That's the quickest way to wealth. And I believed him. So, at that time, it was for a totally different audience. 5 years ago, when I started this channel, it was for highly sensitive people because I thought I was one. But in practicing helping others and learning, I started to learn neuro-linguistic programming, or NLP, which is an excellent modality. I highly recommend if you've never studied it before. It just helps to loosen up all the stuff in your mind. It helps you become aware of your own thought patterns, your mental habits, your conditioning, your perspectives. Just makes you aware of that so that you can then continue growing it and evolving. And so over the course of this channel and starting to coach clients in NLP and helping them, I realized that they were also having this mental war with themselves. Usually they had a false self built out of survival or built for survival. And that false self, they were giving time, energy, and attention to, right? They were embodying that version of themselves, that false version, instead of pursuing their dreams and their goals. And because of that, they were burned out, they were tired, they were frustrated, they were unfulfilled. And this is what we all do to lesser or greater degrees. And so I want to encourage you to start to yield to your desires. Yield to them. When they come up, they are divine guidance. They are sacred instructions to you of what to do. Just pursue them. Follow the breadcrumb trail. They may not lead to where you think. I've had some amazing surprises of, thinking, like with this channel, I thought, I'm going to make all this money. I'm going to monetize my channel. I'm still not monetized, by the way, 5 years later, but that's fine. I'm happy about it because that wasn't the adventure that unfolded from doing this was so much more valuable to me than monetizing. Like it really was. And so, yeah, I shed being HSP, as I really yielded to my desire of not being HSP. I didn't want to be HSP anymore. And all of the literature and the culture of being a highly sensitive person said, this is just how you are. It's intrinsic to you. And deep within me, there was a desire to not be highly sensitive anymore. I didn't like the up and down, the roller coaster, the turmoil it created. And so I decided to yield to that desire. I went along with it. And it was a very fast transformation. I literally, in a day's time, it was overnight. I was like, I am not this anymore. This is not who I am. I'm not an empath either. I decided that, being a sponge to other people's emotions wasn't something I wanted to be anymore. That wasn't interesting or peaceful or joyful for me. That was a painful process. It was a distracting process. And so I was like, that's not me anymore. And so the suffering from within, ending the war within, is from these false selves that we create, that we feel like we are subject to. I felt like I was subject to being a highly sensitive person. I thought, that was who I was. That was what I was led to believe. I thought that label would stick with me forever. But that was what created most of the suffering, that wasn't actually who I was. Deep down, I had that desire not to be it. And so I yielded to that. Just like I initially had yielded or gone along with the whole label of HSP. I'd gone along with it. I'd played the role. I'd played a part in it, in the theatrics of it all, and been a character in the play. And then I was just like, that's, my greater desire was not to be that. It was too much energy and time. And so, yeah, that's when my channel changed. I shifted. And now this is what we're talking about, because again, I'm going to say it again. This process, this philosophy, this practice of what you are learning and what you are doing is because you have some burning desires, strong desires for certain things or to be a certain person, right? You want to be in that ultimate, amazing, loving relationship. You want to be a millionaire. You want to be successful and happy. Yield to these things. Quit quit allowing your false self, right? The self that is structured by society or your past experiences or your need to survive. That was a really strong one that I saw in clients. So circling back to them, you know, the guy who was working all these crazy hours and burning himself out, that's what he was doing in the physical reality. But then internally, his internal drive, his internal wish and desire was to do something different. I mean, he immediately identified it to me. He's like, well, I want to be, I forget what it was. I want to be a nurse, something medical. I want to be a PA and, you know, something like this. So he knew it. He knew there was that strong piece of him that wanted it, desired to be a physician's assistant or, you know, this position. But instead he was forcing himself through the expression of this false self that he had created of that, well, the only way I can survive is working this crazy job with all these hours and burning myself out, and there is no other solution. And so I told him, I said, go be a PA. Like, go be a PA. What's the conflict here? The conflict here is always within ourselves. It is a war with ourselves, against ourselves, between the false self and the true self. The false self being what you believe is true, what is realistic, what society says, what you think you have to do in order to keep surviving. And none of that is true. The truth, the real deeper truth that you can feel, you can sense and feel is there, is your desire, your dream, what you really want in your heart, your heart. This is a war of heart and mind. Mind is the false self, right? Heart is the true self. Heart knows, like, go do that. Go be a PA. That was what it was telling that guy, and he wasn't obeying it. So please, yield to it. Yield to your desires. Go along with them. When they come up, go along with them. Go along with them. That's all you have to do, and your life will become an incredible, amazing, juicy adventure where you feel this complete wholeness and satisfaction and contentment as your base level inside your own mind. This is what I found. The more and more I yield to it, as soon as I have desire, I'm like, okay, this is who I'm being. This is my instructions. I'm going to go be it. I'm not saying the path is easy. It's not, you know, it's a journey. It's a journey to get to our end goal sometimes, right? There's a lot of steps. Like with this channel, like it's been 5 years and I'm still here. And so I'm not saying it's easy, but what I am saying is that it's satisfying. You feel contentment. You are not at war with yourself. Your false and true selves are not warring each other in your head, arguing, and you're wasting a lot of time and energy feeling anxious, conflicted, unsure, indecisive, disappointed, you know, these feelings that come from that inner war with yourself. So, you can also sense this in another person, right? Authenticity is alluring and interesting and attractive. I've really gotten into these police chase videos lately. And watching this one state trooper, apparently he's a legend. And there's so many videos of just him chasing down people and doing a pit maneuver. And it's so fascinating. You don't see him very much. Most of it is him driving. But when he does get out, he state troopers so hard. He is so authentic in that identity. Because of that, he is so good at it. It is absolutely fascinating. And because you can tell that when you see someone in their element, being their desires, embodying who they wanted to be, who they are, and then excelling in that position, like, it's the essence of who we are as humans. Like, you've hit the sweet spot of your potential. And it's amazing to be around. It's amazing to watch. It's inspiring. You're like, hell yeah, I want to go do that as hard as that guy is doing it. So yeah, just give in. Just give in. Give in. And this will make it easier for you when you're trying to embody this version, to just give in to it. This will make it easier for you. Because then, again, you're spending a lot of time and energy in the things that you don't have yet, defending that they're not here yet, right? We spend a lot of time and energy focusing on that. They're not here yet. I have to do this. I have to do processes. I have to stay in the wish fulfilled. That's a lot of time and energy spent in trying, because you really believe in your head that the reality of the situation is that you aren't it. Look at the other side. Look at this wonderful, juicy, exciting dream or desire or wish or want that you have that is beckoning you to evolve into that self. Give into that instead. Give into that. It takes courage. It does. It takes courage to lift your feet and move. But when you do, the more you end the conflict within yourself. You end that war, and you're not having to put time, energy, and attention into a version of yourself you don't want to be, because you don't want to be it, right? That's the whole point. You don't want to be this version of you that doesn't have it, but that's where you're putting all your time and energy and attention into. So stop it. Stop it. It's all, at the end of the day, yes, that version is you, but the version that you want to be, the potential that you want to embody, the belief that you want to hold, that is more authentically you. And the more and more you allow that to be who you are, the less and less you will be conflicted internally. And you're going to feel better. You're going to have more peace of mind. So I know that was helpful to you. Drop a comment below if you would like to engage with me. And if you need a tool to help you, again, settle the false self, calm it down, and start to commit more to your true self, to what you really want, to your desires, who you want to be, the vision, the vision of your future that you want to step into, grab my free tool below. It's always in the description box. It is available to you. It's what I used over the course of my journey, so I know it works. Apply it, and you will see results. So, thanks for watching. Have a great day.